Hello and welcome, you beautiful bookish people. I realized in every single other video I did, other than like maybe 1 or 2 videos, I have not introduced myself. And I've gained a lot of new faces around here, so hello, I'm Brooke, and I like to read fantasy books. Today was supposed to be a picking my TBR for the month of May video, but I realized with this last month, with life being just super hectic and me having a planned TBR, I did not stick to it. Like, I am so much of a mood reader, it's insane. So I was like, you know what, let me just get a list of books that I want to read during the year. I'm not gonna put any time limit on it or deadline, so to say, because I have a lot of upcoming releases that I do want to read, and it makes... Oh, is that a spot? I do have a lot of upcoming releases that I do want to read, and so that kind of throws off my like monthly TBR, because normally I would like ditch everything to read a book, which did happen with Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I honestly shouldn't have put everything aside, but that's beside the point. So I'm gonna go through a couple different categories in this video so you can kind of keep it organized. I have my physical TBR, Fairyloot books that I still need to read, continuing series that are coming out this year or next year. Now, the only thing that I'm gonna go into a lot of detail for is probably just gonna be the upcoming releases, because those are the ones that I can talk more about, but everything else I'll probably just kind of give like, hey, this is kind of what it's about, because obviously I can't speak too much on it because I have not read it. Now, if you see behind me, I have my TBR on the bottom shelves and then this shelf. With the exception of these books, I'm actually selling these on Pango because either they're duplicates of things I have, books I didn't like, just things I needed to unhaul. So if you want to go check that out, please do on my Pango books. But the first book on my physical TBR is going to be Zodiac Academy, which I know this is a very loved, very known series. It's written by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, also nicknamed the Twisted Sisters, and I'm low-key scared to find out why people call them that. But this has been on my shelf for not too long. It's been on my radar for a long time, but I'm so intimidated by the series because there's so many freaking books, and I've heard the writing style is kind of different, and sometimes if I read something with a very different writing style than I'm used to, it throws me off. So I think this is one that I need to really commit to, but all that I know about it is about twin sisters who are apparently long lost heirs to something in like the Fae realm. I could be totally wrong, but they are taken to this new place, and I think the story goes from there. The next book is going to be Guild by Raven Kennedy, and this is part of the Plated Prisoner series, which I have heard that this MMC rivals like Xaden, Rhysand, all of like the top known book boyfriends. So I'm very curious to start this, but apparently it's a girl that is basically like a King Midas retelling. That's all that I'm gonna say. I've heard it's really good. I think there's like 5 or 6 books out, and it's a completed series. Honestly, that's what I need to read next. I'm in the middle of so many series that like I just probably should go start this. The next book is Spark of the Everflame, which is part of the Kindred's Curse saga. Now, I've heard about this one from a lot of people, and a lot of people are saying if you like Throne of Glass, then you're gonna like this, and I am kind of hesitant to start it because it is still unfinished, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and start this at least kind of soon. I'm actually gonna read this blurb because it's kind of short. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel magic-wielding offspring, DM Bellator yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offered DM an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, enigmatic heir watching her every move and a ruthless rebel alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. That sounds so incredibly amazing. I love the combination of like court intrigue and secrets, but also like powerful FMC and then throw magic in there. It's just a recipe for perfection. This is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and this is technically a YA fantasy, but I've heard that it doesn't read like YA. I think I'm like super hit or miss with YA, because if it reads more immature and doesn't have that more in-depth development of these characters, I'm not gonna connect to them. I'm not gonna connect to the story, but I've heard this is really phenomenal, and oh my god, the font is huge. And I believe this is more of a story of like saving an empire with like 2 very unexpected protagonists, I guess. The main character is named Maya and she's a slave and Elias is a soldier. Neither is free. It's basically them working together for a chance to save everything they know. This is one book that I'm actually so excited to read. This is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, and the second one comes out in May, I believe. And I picked this up a long time ago and just like never read it. It's like the first edition with like the metallic edges, and I think the second one looks the same with the red edges. But I was waiting to start this one until the second one came out because I believe it's going to be a duology, and I wanted to make sure to experience the story back to back. And I believe this is more of like Viking mythology, which is so intriguing to me. Like the main character's name is Freya. Like that's making my mythology heart like so happy because I'm like, oh my god, it's Freya. I know Freya. A shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. Said enough here. I'm so excited to read this. This next one, I don't think a lot of people are strangers to Cassandra Clare, and this series I think has been out for a long time. But I wanted to get into Cassandra Clare because I've heard amazing things about her, and I actually have the Ragpicker King, which is the second book to The Sword Catcher, also by Cassandra Clare. But I was like, you know what, I should probably start with like her other series. And so I picked this one up. It's from the Mortal Instruments series. I actually have no idea what this is about. I've just heard her writing is amazing, storytelling is amazing, and it's very intriguing and a very expansive world. And I do believe this one is YA too, but I'm confident in Cassandra and what I've heard about her to know that this is gonna be good. The last one I'm gonna highlight for my physical TBR is Legendborn by Tracy Dion, and I've heard amazing things about this one. Again, this is also YA. I literally just said YA is so hit or miss for me, but if I heard good things about it and I'm intrigued in the story and heard that it reads well, then I'm all for it. But this book is about Bree Matthews, who is at this academy after her mother dies in some sort of accident, and she basically finds out that it wasn't an accident and has to go figure out what's actually going on and recruits some friends, bunch of people, I don't know, maybe new characters. I don't actually know how they meet, but basically to solve her mother's murder in a magical fantasy setting. The next couple books are actually going to be rapid fire because these are my Fairyloot edition books. I have the Romantasy subscription, so you can kind of expect similar things for most of these books, so I won't go into too much detail. The first one is Iron and Embers by Helen Schurer. It's part of a new series, but I've heard you need to read the Legends of Thesmar series to really be able to immerse yourself in these characters and in the world. So I'm planning to read Legends of Thesmar before this one, but it is a beautiful, beautiful edition. The next one is the Starlight Heir by Emily Howard, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I've not heard phenomenal things about it, but I have the book. I'm gonna give it a try. The back says the stars have spoken and one of their own awakens. And I believe it's about somebody who is a bladesmith. It says a bladesmith blessed by the stars to have the power to, I think, imbue these weapons with a certain power. So that's very interesting. We're gonna give it a shot later. The next book is Firebird by Juliet Cross, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm so excited to read this because there's a dragon on the cover, and also the MMC is a dragon shifter, which I've not read a lot of dragon shifter romances, but I'm excited to experience that. But from what I understand, she is a dancer in a reimagined like Roman Empire sort of thing. That's funny. And he is the nephew slash related to Roman royalty officials and things like that, and they fall in love. And I believe it is their story of, I guess, almost like a forbidden romance story within the empire. And also apparently dragons are like, that's a no-no. Like, you're probably going to be executed if you are a dragon shifter. That's all that I understand. The last one is A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. This one was actually on my TBR for this month, and I might still get to it. Today is April 24th, and it's not very long at all, and I'm actually so excited to read this. There's horses and dragons on this cover, and if you don't know anything about me, I ride horses. I had to pause recently because it is very, very expensive, but I did eventing, and it is like, if I could do one thing for the rest of my life, it would be ride horses. But anyways, basically I believe that magic is dead and it's like non-existent in this world, and the FMC is destined to wake it up. And also it says dragons are extinct, so I'm assuming she's gonna figure out a way to bring dragons back. But you can't tell me that's not gorgeous. Here's where I can get into more about these books. I'm gonna start telling you about continuing series that are going to be published later this year. The first one is going to be Brimstone by Callie Hart, which is the second book in the Fae and Alchemy series, the first one being Quicksilver, which I know so many people know, love it. It's amazing, 5-star read for me, and it comes out in November. The first book follows Sarah Fane, who is a human living in this almost like dystopian kind of world, but it's in a fantasy world. And she ends up stealing something from one of the guards in their city and gets taken to the main headquarters to be punished. But then somehow she awakens something called the Quicksilver, which is basically a portal to other realms. And she is brought through the portal by a man named Kingfisher, where she is told that, hey, you're an alchemist, you can wake up the Quicksilvers, we need to use those, how about you figure out how to do that? And then the story takes off from there. It is so good. The ending literally had, like, I was staring at the wall for so long because I'm like, you're just gonna leave us with that ending? Like, be prepared. This is a cliffhanger. If you are not one to start an unfinished series that has really bad cliffhangers, then I would wait to read this one, but I cannot wait for Brimstone. Now the next one is kind of a little bit different. I am waiting for Alchemized by Senlin Yu, which is out in September. This is basically, if you have heard of Manacled. Manacled is a Draco Hermione fanfiction that is heartbreaking, so intense. It is not for the lighthearted, and I loved it. It is so long. I think it's like 1,400 pages. It was on AO3 but has since been taken off because it's getting traditionally published and reimagined as Alchemized. So basically I think it's gonna be the same sort of story, just obviously like she can't use the characters' names that were in Harry Potter. But I am planning on still reading it because it is gonna be a little different. And I really enjoyed Manacled, but I think honestly I don't remember like too much about it, and I probably won't by the time September comes around. But I ordered the Waterstones exclusive of it, so I still hope that comes. And I emailed them asking if it's gonna come because apparently because of all the tariffs and stuff, Waterstones is no longer gonna be shipping to the United States, and I already had that pre-ordered, so I'm like, crap, I hope I can still get it. The next book is The Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker, which is the sequel to When the Moon Hatched, and this was gonna be published in the fall of this year, but the author has since said that she's gonna take her time, write the story, really savor it, and make it good, so it's pushed to sometime in 2026, I'm not sure. But this was so good, oh my god. This story is about Rave, who is an assassin in the empire that she lives in, and she is caught by the Guild of Nobles for her crimes, but is found out by King Khan Vagor, who's the king of another territory, I guess, in the realm, and she is taken by him and told, hey, there's some stuff going on that I need you to assist me with. And it is honestly, that like doesn't even touch on everything or honestly anything about this story. It is so in-depth, and this is definitely high fantasy. Like, you have to focus on the world, you have to focus on the plot. There is like flashbacks and diary entries from a mysterious character that is throughout the story, and so it's kind of like a mystery fantasy intrigue all like mixed up into one, and it is amazing. The next one is The Fallen in the Kiss of Dusk, which is by Carissa Broadbent, who is one of my auto-buy-auto-read authors. I love everything by her, and this one comes out in August. It is the second book to, I believe it's the Bloodborne? I think it's the Bloodborne duet. I'm probably gonna edit this later and find out that I'm wrong. But I'm actually currently reading The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, also by her, which is the first book in that duet. The first books are The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which I thoroughly enjoyed them. And also there's a novella called Six Scorched Roses, which that was a 5-star read for me. Absolutely amazing. And then a standalone in that world called Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. This has vampires, this has a group of gods. It's sort of like a little mythology sprinkled in there in the fantasy world. But the first book is about Oriya, who is a human, and she has to go compete in this tournament called the Kajari, which is to honor the goddess Nyaxia, and she's competing against other vampires, and she finds an unlikely ally in Arain, who is a vampire from another house that has like an interesting reputation. But basically they work together to win the Kajari, because at the end one person gets a wish / request granted by Nyaxia, and oh my god, the plot twist. But this series is going to be a set of 3 duets, so I'm really excited to keep reading. The next one that I'm so excited to read is The Dragon Wakes with Thunder by KX Song, which is the sequel to The Night Ends with Fire, which is a Mulan retelling. And I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of retellings are a little bit difficult for me to get into because like it kind of makes it a little bit predictable, but this one, it was done so well in a way that like I could probably kind of figure out what was going to happen, but the character development and the immersion into this similar world world but new story kept it interesting, and it progressed in a way that made so much sense for the characters while staying true to the Mulan elements that we all know and love. Oh my god, now this next book might be my most anticipated release for the year, and it comes out in July. I'm talking about City of Smoke and Brimstone by Kayla Edwards, and I'm not lying to you. I say that it's my most anticipated read, and it literally this month has just become my most anticipated read because I finished City of Souls and Sinners. Nope, what's it called? City of Lies and Legends, that's it. It's part of the House of Devils series by Kayla Edwards, and the first book is City of Gods and Monsters. And when I tell you the series absolutely freaking consumed me, I'm not lying to you. It is a high urban fantasy, and it follows Loren Calla, who is a student, human, not very interesting kind of person at Angel Thene Academy, and she finds out that people are hunting her. They want her for something, and she has no idea what. And one of the people hired to find her and turn her in is Darien Castle, who is basically a magical bounty hunter, but instead of turning her in, he decides he's gonna be her bodyguard, and they basically work together to figure out what the heck is going on. Why do they want this random human student that goes to Angel Thene Academy? That's not even the beginning of it, and I know these books are long and they are intimidating, but I'm consumed. I honestly don't even know what else to say. It is top tier. It's like up there with Throne of Glass for me. Like I'm literally not lying to you. The last book in the continuing series is gonna be Fallen Stars by Imani Ariu, which is the sequel to Heavenly Bodies, and this one comes out in November. I actually received Heavenly Bodies in my Fairyloot subscription and read this in January, and I was honestly not expecting to love it as much as I did. But it is about Elara, who is basically this heir to a kingdom that was recently in war, and she runs away but is captured by a rival kingdom and is told, hey, actually we need your help to slay the star, which is basically like their versions of gods, like governors of the world. We need your help slaying him, and he's the one that is putting your country in turmoil because guess what? There is a prophecy that Elara and this star are destined to either fall in love or kill each other. So it's a very, like, I say high stakes, but this is like the definition of romantasy. It is so good. The main male character, Lorenzo, is top notch, and basically they train together to be able to go kill this star, and there's ball scenes, there's training. It's just, oh my god, so freaking good. Now those are all of the books that are on my radar planning to read. This is gonna be my yearly TBR. That's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do any of the monthly TBR or TBR jar things. I have not been consistent in reading all of them, and I want to make sure that I'm still reading what I want to read, because at the end of the day, this is fun, this is a hobby, and I don't want to burn myself out. And I know if I like get too strict with it, I am going to burn myself out. Also, can we take a moment and appreciate my new shelves? If you can't tell, I moved, and if you're new here, hey, I moved recently. But these are the IKEA bookshelves that I set up, and honestly, I don't like how they're set up right now, but I wanted to fill them so it doesn't feel like really empty. But thank you so much for watching. You are the absolute best. If you have made it all the way to the end of this video, it is time for my emoji reveal. That's actually really stupid. No, if you've made it this far, comment the stack of books, emoji, little stack of books. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will see you next time.